Roguelike games are on their way to becoming my favorite genre of game. I don't remember exactly where that journey began, but my first memory of that journey is when Cody over at Cody's Nuts introduced me to The Binding of Isaac. I don't even want to get into how bad I was at the game, but I was able to beat it after restarting over and over until I got a good starting item. Then, after I beat it once, it just kind of died for me there. No late game, no getting good, I just got the satisfaction of beating the game once and then never really looked back. I realized that I was in love with this genre by the time that I had found Enter the Gungeon. Enter the Gungeon has stood as my favorite roguelike game for quite some time. I've put about 100 hours into the game so far, and of all that time, I've beaten the final boss just once, which didn't even happen until after I'd already played the game for 90 hours. That level of playtime in any game is pretty rare for me outside of a few select favorites like Skyrim, the Halo series, the Destiny series, or the Mass Effect series. The feel of each weapon, the humor of the game, the art style, the sound effects, the music, the drive to just get better. The game overall is just really solid. Since it has so many guns and items, each run is just so different after you finish up the first floor. The bosses are fun, and it's always exciting or just dreadful to see if you can complete a boss without getting hit. It's difficult for something to top this game as a favorite for me, but damn do so many games get real close. Once again, Cody recommended, Jack approved. Dead Cells was my next addiction. I'm probably equally as bad at Dead Cells as I am at Gungeon, but its ascending difficulty with the boss cells at least makes me feel better at it. I liked Dead Cells, and then something happened. I don't know what, but when the DLC came out, I had fallen in love. Not because the DLC was good. No. Fuck that area and all of its hiding dart-blowing bastards. There was just this switch that clicked while I was prepping myself to try it out, and then I was always watching someone do a run or doing runs myself. I was losing sleep, and I still couldn't even get my third boss cell. Even with all that obsession, there's this shallowness to Dead Cells. So much so that the story of the game is an actual option that can be disabled in the settings. It's a bonus, but people aren't playing Dead Cells to figure out what's going on in the sewers. They're playing because the controls are smooth, trying to progress to the next boss cell, unlock new traits and weapons, getting a faster runtime. It's all designed to benefit that. You're there for a reason, and that reason is the gameplay. In between all of that, I've been playing a number of different roguelikes: Neon Abyss, Other Side, Rogue Legacy 1 and 2, Spelunky, Slay the Spire, FTL, Into the Breach, and the list goes on and on. Most of which I've been decent enough to beat at least one time, if that at all. I haven't really been a PC guy, so all I could do was just imagine what kind of glorious roguelike game the makers of Bastion and Transistor could have made using my favorite mythology as the setting. Finally, in the pursuit of making this YouTube, I was able to get a taste of it. At the time of writing this, I'm just about 50 hours shy of gameplay, and most of which has been during the last early update patch. However, the rest is after official release, and about 10 hours of that is just idle time. And with all that time, I've managed to defeat the final boss a whopping 2 times. Hades isn't just a roguelike with a Greek mythology setting. It has its own little twist. I wouldn't call it unique, but I would wager that it could be revolutionary. At least for me, it was such a small and simple addition that enhanced the game for me so goddamn much. It doesn't shine in this genre because of the combat, the setting, the soundtrack, or the boss design. It does one thing different and one thing better than any other roguelike I've played: story. And to me, that could be something that revolutionizes the genre for it, at least if other games decide to take inspiration from it. When I die in Gungeon, I quick restart. When I die in Dead Cells, I jump right back into a run. This is the case for any roguelike that I've played. The only times that I care about the NPC is when I can make or buy something from them. Otherwise, my goal is to just get back into the gameplay as soon as I can. In any roguelike, Death is a disappointment, a frustration. The only tinge of excitement might come with the purchase of a new item or upgrade. When I die in Hades, the disappointment or frustration is there, but it's quickly quelled by my excitement because I get to go run and talk to Hypnos or Achilles, Pet Cerberus, speak with Nyx. Is Meg there? Oh, thank Olympus Dusa is not cleaning the rafters. I talk to each and every motherfucker that I can, and when one of them is gone, I'm disappointed. What makes Hades shine is how well it applies story and character development to a roguelike formula. It's so incredibly small, it's such an easy addition, and to me, it made all the difference. Every time you die, you're brought back to a hub. The hub is filled with several different NPCs. All of the NPCs have small and unique conversations with Zagreus that in some way develops the plot of the overall story, the character's story, or the relationship between each other. Even the upgrades you get every time you play further the development between Zag and the Olympians or between the Olympians themselves. I've played roguelikes that are designed with the nature of self-awareness of the genre. They make design decisions with the idea that you're going to be playing a single run for about 30 minutes to an hour, dying or winning, and then immediately jumping back into another run. Hades has their self-awareness directed within the story itself. They know you're going to be restarting over and over, and so they make the story facilitate that, rather than having a generic and easy to digest reason for dying and trying over and over again. And there's nothing wrong with that genericism. It befits the genre because you're there for the gameplay and nothing else. Additionally, most roguelikes give you a bit of story here and there. In the beginning to set the scene, maybe some interactables during a run, and again after you beat it. Not only is this story front and center for Hades, but it's a secondary reward for progressing throughout the game. When you die, you get new story. When you play, you get new story. When you win, you get new story. At all moments throughout the game, there's a small amount of dialogue that rewards you for playing the game, regardless of whether you've got the skills to beat it. The story isn't just the cherry on top of the metaphorical sundae. It's a cherry with each and every single bite you're gonna take. Do you bite sundaes? I guess they're spoonfuls. Whatever. To go along with each spoonful of glorious sundae and cherry is another glorious topping for you to enjoy. Maybe it's whipped cream, caramel drizzle, almonds. Sorry, not a dessert channel. It's the voice acting. All of the dialogue is wonderfully voice acted.
I'm up. I was just resting my eyes. You won't tell anybody, right?
Oh, very well then, little Hades. Uncle's going to let you off the hook this time.
Even the narration, which is fantastic in this weird fourth wall breaking way. I'm not sure if it's actually fourth wall breaking. The narrator will set the scene, and then in some cases, Zagreus will respond as if actually hearing the narration. So I guess third wall breaking? Is that a thing? Hello everybody. We are here with a scriptwriter sidebar. Originally, I was going to include a spotlight on the narration being absolutely wonderfully voice acted, and how that wasn't a surprise given that Ron Perlman did the narration for Bastion. However, in my research of the voice actors for Hades, I discovered that my entire world has been a lie. The very talented Logan Cunningham not only did the VO for the storyteller/narrator in Hades, but he was also the narrator in Bastion as well, not Ron Perlman, famously known for being the voice of Slade from Teen Titans. And now, back to your regularly scheduled praise for Hades. There's still so much of this game that I haven't really had the time to discover, but it's so wonderful. Some of the punishments, which are kind of like endgame, not endgame enhancements, can add to the movesets of bosses or give perks to existing mobs you encounter along the way. It encourages you to try out all of the weapons by locking upgrade currencies behind them. The first time you beat each boss with a weapon, you get one of these currencies and can't do it again until you increase your punishment level. So, to upgrade your shit, you gotta spend time with everything, even the weapons you're not great with, like the fucking shield. I could honestly talk about my love for this game forever, but in the end, it's not perfect. They really shit the bed with the narrator. Each and every other person you interact with and speak to has this development and plot that can be followed. Except, at least to my experience, the narrator. The moments you do have a back and forth with them is just fantastic. However, a lot of it is just too far and few in between. and I would have loved to see more of a dynamic between Zagreus and the storyteller as a continued reward. Design-wise, the Hydra is a really cool boss, but every other boss has this really rich story and great dialogue, but the Hydra is just a quick, simple line of dialogue and then boom. It's a real letdown in comparison to some of the others. Most of these next bits could just be get good moments. I'm just not the greatest gamer when it comes to roguelikes, but as an experienced gamer with them, it feels weird or out of place, so I'm gonna make note of it. Some of the boons just don't feel great. I was doing a run the day of writing this, and I got a hammer upgrade for my sword that turned my attack into a high damage chop. It looked hella weird. It was the final attack in the normal combo and just ruined the flow of it. I get there's supposed to be this whole give and take with some of them, but it just didn't feel right. And as someone who's not a fan of the sword in general, this could just be a consequence of that. Following that, there's just some weapons that aren't fun sometimes. Still, could be a get good moment, but beating the game with the spear feels much easier than with the shield. The bow was a huge pain in my ass until I got the aspect of Chiron, and then I could just spam the special without worrying about missing 90% of the shots, and that's gone on to become my new favorite weapon. The difficulty curve of Elysium it's just a bit too rough for me. The jump from Tartarus to Asphodel feels pretty solid in terms of difficulty, but jumping from Asphodel to Elysium just feels like too much of a difficulty ramp up. Then you get to Styx and it just kind of levels out. The enemy design is made much more simple, but the map design is a bit more constricted to compensate. With the added layer of poison on top of it all, it just kind of blends really well. Whereas Elysium is just like, hey, everybody's got some yellow health bars, and if you don't confirm your kills almost immediately, they're gonna revive and you will regret. Plus, look at all these new types of enemies that might not abide by any of the rules previously set up, but do a great job of foreshadowing the bosses of this level. Also, butterflies. So in conclusion, I'm bad at this game, and there's some missed opportunities with story potential, but overall, Hades is just a really great game. It's a Supergiant game, meaning it looks beautiful, sounds beautiful, and plays just like you would expect it to be played of any of their others, but it's also a roguelike, which means you're gonna get a shit ton more replayability out of it. Fans of both will like it all the same because there are things that set it apart from other roguelike games while staying true to the genre, and other Supergiant games while still staying true to their core. To end it off, the most important thing to know about Hades is that Dusa and Meg are waifu. The end. Really though, this game excites me. What Supergiant did with simple story additions could be something that all roguelikes benefit from. If the genre started to do this in the future, I think there's nothing but benefit that could be had. I hope other studios take inspiration from what's been done here and continue to innovate on the genre the way that Supergiant did. Or they don't, and we still get badass roguelike games. Hey everybody, I just wanted to say thanks for watching. I plan on making a whole bunch of different videos that range from D&D stuff to anime, even movies, as well as more video game content. If you have any suggestions, please go ahead and let me know in the comments. Otherwise, while you wait for me to release new content, go ahead and check out Cold Soup Productions. I help out there sometimes and appear in their videos, and they're a bunch of my close friends. And, you know, do that whole YouTube thing where you like, share, subscribe. Thanks!